with the world of Splatoon, there's many different secrets and hidden things going on around us. I mean, seriously, all this time, in the background, Mr. Grizz was working at Grizzco as the leader in order to get us to do some very bad things to help his ultimate plan to turn the world into mammals once again. Remember, this was going on all the way back to Splatoon 2, so this villain reveal was being plotted a long time ago, and it always makes me think, who's the next villain and what's being teased already? Thanks to the Sunken Sea Scrolls, we once again get to learn a lot about the world around us in Splatsville, and yes, it was very informative about the story and about the history of Alterna and the people before, but there's also some interesting hints, it looks like, at some things that could be coming. Now, we know there's a huge paid DLC coming, so this could be the villain of that, or maybe the villain of the next Splatoon game. The character that I want to talk about today is Glenn Fiddler, the president and CEO of Splatsville. Of all the pages within the Sunken Sea Scrolls, this one stuck out to me the most. Something about this person did not sit right with me. He is the single reason we have the lobbies and our fun turf war matches, and he's the one that created all of this stuff in the first place. He created the practice range, you know, the whole facility itself. He is the sole producer of this whole thing, which is pretty cool, and it's something that they've never really mentioned with any of the past areas and the past lobbies from Splatoon 1 and 2, is about the CEO and creator of them, unless this guy also created those. It's funny that we're just now hearing about some CEO and president of this whole facility, and it's a very interesting page, and I don't think it's just to tell us about this guy, and also considering the fact that he looks very creepy. But let's talk about what this page actually says. The page is a quote from him stating, "The lobby I've built doesn't have a single standout feature, because everything in there is feature worthy. If you don't have the greatest turf war experience ever, I'll eat the smaller of my two claws." From Glenn Fiddler, president and CEO. He's not the most humble person out there, that's for sure. He seems to be very proud of what he created and knows what he created to be one of the greatest things ever, and he knows that there is no problems with it whatsoever, besides the matchmaking sometimes. Freaking Glenn, it never works. Something about this crustacean just doesn't sit right with me. He has full total control and access of everything that goes on with turf war, ranked mode, and any of the lobby matchmaking. Literally, he's the reason why these Inklings and Octolings are doing anything for fun. It's because of him. Now, he could just be a nice guy to decide to build all this stuff for the Inklings and Octolings, and we never see or hear from him again. But he just holds so much power and has so much control over pretty much every Inkling and Octoling right now. It's kind of scary, and the fact that he can actually do whatever he wants is also kind of scary, and we just haven't really heard anything else about him. He just still looks so mysterious to me. But I've got some more things to talk about this guy. You know, at least from the past areas and lobbies that we've had in Splatoon 1 and 2, that this one is the most advanced by far. In fact, it is extremely advanced, and one of the things that it has in its lobby practice range is a copy machine. This thing is literally like a robot Inkling / Octoling that copies whatever movements you do. It fires back at you, it can throw specials. It's kind of creepy. I've never really seen robots like this within the Splatoon world, so it's very interesting that this guy created one for the practice range, and I kind of almost feel like he might have more. We have seen robot bosses from past Splatoon games, but I don't think they had any reference with Glenn. In fact, I think they were all made by DJ Octavio, or at least used by DJ Octavio. It's not clear that he made these things, but maybe he just put his army and minions within them in order to kind of program them and work for himself. There still are similarities to that copybot. For instance, take the Octo Oven for example. This thing has one giant laser red eye that follows the Inkling as they move around. When we look at the copybot, it has a very similar one red eye. The only other boss in the game that has kind of red beating eyes like this is the Octo Shower, which once again could be another mech created by Glenn Fiddler. Now, yes, we know DJ Octavio was the main villain of 1 and 2, but this is where it gets very interesting. The Octo expansion was not DJ Octavio's work. All of these bosses were created by Commander Tartar. However, these bosses weren't original bosses, they were just the same ones from Splatoon 2, but taken over by Tartar's army. So maybe DJ Octavio made multiple of these bosses, and then Tartar just took them over. I mean, after all, we know he's taking over the Octarians, which are already DJ Octavio's army, so maybe that's the case. But if there's multiple of these things, it kind of almost tells me that maybe DJ Octavio grabbed these machines from somewhere else. Maybe these machines were already made by somebody like Glenn Fiddler, and DJ Octavio just took over. Maybe it's no longer a question of who's piloting these things, whether it be Octarian, corrupted Octarian, or even fuzzy Octarian now, but rather it's where are these machines coming from in the first place? It's not just some of the bosses that had robotic designs, a lot of the enemy Octarians do as well. The squeegee / industrial squeegee, which could just literally have been made as a cleanup tool, you know, maybe that's what's used to clean up the turf war matches at the end, and you know, maybe DJ Octavio stole it to use it as his own purpose. You also have the flutters, which just kind of spread ink everywhere. You have octopods and the oversized octopods, which have just been completely weaponized to explode enemy ink all over inklings or octolings. You have the regular octo stamps, and then you have the skybots with the octo seeker and the octo zeppelins. So there's lots of octo themed robots, and once again, these could have all just been created by DJ Octavio for all we know, but they also could have been created by an outside force, somebody actually making the electronic part, and maybe even the one that helped DJ Octavio make his robot in the first place. Maybe DJ Octavio was working in cahoots with somebody else. Now, one of the last things I wanted to touch on about this theory is the fact that we have the Marigold Staff members all over Splatsville, and we really don't know much about them, and it seems like they might even be some type of criminal gang, or maybe even like a mafia family. So it's hard to say. I have my own theory about the Marigold themselves, and that's going to be in its own separate video, but there's also the chance that maybe they were hired by Fiddler in the first place in order to work for him and undergo some type of secret operation. Who knows at this point? They definitely are some lifeless, creepy creatures at the end of the day, and I'm not really sure what their main plan is, and hopefully they're not working for some type of evil organization, but more on them on a later video. So is it true that we could be seeing a robot invasion very soon within the next DLC or the next Splatoon game? Is Fiddler a secret villain, or is he really just a nice president and CEO that gave us some really cool high-tech stuff to mess around with in a lobby? It's hard to tell, but it definitely is something to think about. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Is there any other evidence that might point to this, you know, as being a actual true thing? Let me know what you think, and if you enjoy this video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Nintendo and Splatoon. But real quick, guys, we have now reached 180,000 subscribers here on the channel, and we are trying to reach 200,000 by the end of the year. We're getting ever so close. For the 200,000 subscribers special, I am doing something that you guys have been asking for a very long time. You guys wanted to know the entire story of how Nintendo Land came to be, how this channel even started in the first place, and I have the entire story for you. It's a little bit more interesting than you may have previously thought, so you definitely don't want to miss that. Let's reach 200,000 subscribers. If you're watching this right now, stop what you're doing, leave a like, and subscribe. Every single subscription helps out, and I cannot thank you guys enough. Thank you for everything that you guys have been doing to help the channel grow as much as it has already. I could not have done it without you. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you all in the next one. See you guys.